here we are at the end of the week. Steve, how's it gone?
Yeah, it's been a very productive week. I have been quite busy on the intelligent content marketing side of the equation, orchestrating the sort of sales process flow, the funnel to address the Monopoly Tribe material to our target audience in Australia. Will be sort of professionals that are seeking to innovate but haven't got access to innovation. The Australian Bureau of Statistics have produced some really interesting data that speaks to that being a real source of inhibition to growth for up to 1 million Australian businesses. So we're targeting the tribe material at that audience. So I've been doing all the thinking behind all of that, and closing immigration services at the same time, and sending a couple of inquiries into Zzzzip because we're starting to gain some traction, even though it is summer lull at the moment. It's typically the immigration department. 2 weeks in summer it goes a bit sort of quiet, and that's where we are. But we're still aggressively sort of spinning the wheels underneath us.
Yeah, same on the corporate services side. Although, I'm sure you've noticed the same thing. People we've been speaking to for quite a while, who've essentially, we've closed them, but they're now, because it's the summer, they've got kids and families, they're moving. So actually the administration side of it, even though we've invoiced in the past, getting the kids moved over, getting them into schools, getting the bank accounts set up, actually finalising the case preparation. Been a bit of new business as well, which is good, but the focus has definitely shifted away from new business, which it always does in the summer in Hong Kong.
So a little bit quiet, but we've got lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
What about your exercise journey?
Exercise journey, I did actually go for a swim last week. I went for a skip this week, which was good. I'm starting on Monday a 28-day intensive diet and exercise program with my wife. She's back from the UK on Saturday. I was going to start this Monday just gone. I thought actually if we're on a different eating plan that's not going to work. So, and she's also been eating a lot of chips in the UK, so timing works quite well for her. So we're going to follow a regime that a friend of mine has recently done and had really good results on. So I'll sort of blog and post more about that in the next 28 days. No booze, no sugar, no salt, and restricted calories for 28 days.
Sounds like a plan. That's kind of been my life for the last 2 years, really. But yeah. So what about your diary efforts? This is your second diary entry, I think, right?
This is my second formal diary entry. I did my first one yesterday. Interesting experience. I'm sure it will improve in time.
What sort of things would you say you've learned so far? Obviously there's a lot ahead of you, but just little things so far that you've come to understand about this diary keeping thing.
You can fit it into your day when it makes sense in the context of what mood you're in and what you're actually doing. What I tried to do this week was block some time in my calendar to make a diary entry. Got to that time and couldn't think of anything to say, whereas at other parts of the week I had all the gear with me. I could have easily just done a post off the cuff there and then. I think that's going to be the big thing from this week is blog when you're in the mood, when you think you've got something to talk about, when you're ready to do it, rather than waiting and then not being able to. So essentially having a phone with you all the time means you can blog all the time. That's the main thing.
And then what I've learned is that you can get carried away with sort of the videoing of your every utterance and every thought without actually realising that unless you're delivering real value, you're not worthy of people's attention. So I've settled on a formula that my diary tend to be sort of 20% factual to set scene, and then 80% where I'm trying to deliver some sort of value through insight, really. That way you can keep your story tight, and you can share the value in bite-sized chunks and that represent your learning and your experience that can be imparted. And it's an efficient and effective way of doing that. Too many people just glab on and on and on and on and on and on, and I've tried to sort of avoid doing that now. What about the management of the technology, just the files and the kit and that kind of stuff? How have you fared with that so far?
Management of the technology has been good. Getting used to my new handheld, what's it called?
Gizmo.
Well, the Gizmo, yeah, that's a good word. So my new Gizmo, and then making sure that when I turn it off, I'm sort of not hanging it, so it sort of just collapses and tries to throw my phone out of it. So a few teething errors, but yeah, generally it's been pretty good. Just working out the camera angle to try and get the glare off my window, which is behind us now, because I think that's going to have a nice backdrop for things, but it really depends what the weather's doing. So yeah, just sort of playing around with it and with the lighting and things, but it's been good. It's been good.
Anything that phased you, and have you found it actually quite easy to adopt, given that you came from no background at all in this stuff?
Some things I think have been quite easy. Having a vague idea of what you want to say is good, but don't over plan it, otherwise it just sounds scripted. We did some video footage at Rise last week, and I was doing some interviews with some entrepreneurs and startups, and was probably a little bit too
Stiff?
rigid, kind of non-conversational, and I just for some reason decided to play a journalist rather than just being myself having a conversation. So the next time I do an interactive video with somebody else, hopefully that will be better.
Well, what's interesting about that is that I had to go off to the UK on a 5-day TV presenter course to learn that actually being on camera is just about being natural. And the more you stiff it up, the more stiff you appear. So yeah, you learn that in the space of an afternoon. So
yeah,
pretty fast. Right, I've got to prepare for my weekly session with Jason Black, talking about how to build a monopoly from nothing, and you've got to go off and go sailing in the weather, I understand.
Yeah, it's the Sunset series that the Yacht Club is putting on at the moment. Usually it's a bright sunny day, and sailing on the afternoon on a Friday is quite good, but it's currently thunderstorm warning and raining quite heavily, so we'll see how that goes.